This is a little different from the rest of my tier list videos. I was gonna use the tier list maker, but I couldn't actually find one that had every single hard mode melee weapon. So I just made my own, and I've got a folder right here that I'm hoping that you guys can't see. That has all of the hard mode melee weapons. There's 85 of them. So we're gonna be here for a little while. I got some water here just in case my throat gets dry. I feel like I need to explain exactly what these tiers mean. Okay, the Chad tier is reserved for weapons that I personally really like. It's reserved for weapons that I think are the best weapons. Obviously, this tier is subjective, so the A tier is basically what you could consider the highest tier of weapons. These are the weapons that obviously I think are the best weapons. B tier is the good tier. You can use these weapons and you can be effective with them. C tier is the tier where weapons that you generally probably wouldn't use unless you're trying to do like a challenge or something. Or you just absolutely have to use them for whatever reason. Like if you're playing medium core and it's the only thing in your chest, then you'll probably use this, but in general you wouldn't use it. D tier is the bad tier. You wouldn't use these weapons, you wouldn't seek them out. If you found them in your inventory, it'd go in a chest, and you'd never use it. And the sad guy tier is, reserved for weapons that are so horribly bad that you would absolutely never even think about using them. Like, you'd chuck them in the trash, they're that bad, and haven't used, obviously. It's pretty self-explanatory, even though I've probably got maybe 2,000 hours on Terraria, maybe 2,500 if you're counting every single version, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PC version. Yeah, I've got about 2,500 hours, maybe even 3,000 hours on Terraria. And even then, I have not used every single melee weapon, so that might be a problem. I don't know. If anything is in the haven't used tier, just in the comments, say what you think, where you think that weapon would go based off of, like, everything, so. I'd also like to mention, there are going to be no tools or accessories in this list. Only mainline melee weapons, so no pickaxes, no axes, no Shield of Cthulhu or anything like that, no hammers. Yes, those things technically do melee damage. No, they will not be included, because they are not mainline, mainstream melee weapons that you would use in any serious capacity, I should say. And also, all these weapons are in alphabetical order. They're not in progression order, so we're going from A all the way down to Z. Alright. Starting all the way up here, we have the, my folder is over here, all the way up here, with the Adamantite Glaive, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say this right now. Let me actually move this. Y'all might see this. I think y'all did. The hard mode ore weapons, I'm gonna say this about them right now. You probably are not going to use these weapons in really much of any serious capacity, which is why I'm going to lump the Adamantite Glaive and the Adamantite Sword together in the C tier. Because you would not really use these weapons in much of any serious capacity. I'm going to put them like in upper mid C tier, probably like right there. Because, I mean, you could use them. They're functionally pretty good, but there's just in general better options. You'd pick anything up over these weapons. Like, if you saw like a beam sword drop, or you got like a shadow flame knife, or you got, what's another weapon? I can't really think of any other like melee weapons like that you might want to use. Just like, you know when you see, like you know, like these are just like the weapons that, like if they were given like unique abilities similar to how the things like the Light's Bane and the Blood Butcher and the Blade of Grass have, that'd make them pretty cool. But they don't, sadly. It's just a generic spear, generic sword. They do good damage and you can use them, but you're only really going to use them if you have to. On the other hand, we have Amarok. Amarok is an absolutely amazing yo-yo. I love this freaking yo-yo. This yo-yo is so good. It's relatively easy to obtain. It's a 1 in 300 drop chance from any enemy in the snow biome. I think either that or in the frozen ice biome. It does 49 damage, I think, and it has a chance to inflict frostburn. In terms of general usefulness, I think Hellfire might be a little bit more useful. But if you want a lower drop chance, I mean, obviously, drop chances are kind of weird because you can either get the Amarok on your 600th, you can either get the Amarok on your 600th kill, or you can get the Amarok on, you know, your 5th kill. Same thing with the Hellfire. So I'm gonna put the Amarok, honestly, probably lower A tier. Like, right here. It's a really solid yo-yo. I mean, it's really good to get early on in hard mode because of its damage, and I mean, if you want to buy any of the other yo-yos from the Traveling Merchant or the Skeleton Merchant, you obviously can. But if you don't want to pay for a yo-yo, it's a pretty good option. It's honestly pretty good. If you're wondering why I'm looking up here, I'm looking up at the deselect tool so that I can obviously, you know, deselect the stuff. Alright, this is a weapon I have never used, the Anchor. I'm sorry, it's gonna have to go in the haven't used category. I keep bumping my mic with my hat. I'm sorry, my hair is a mess, so that's why I'm wearing a hat. I've never used the Anchor, so, I'm sorry, I can't rank it because I've never used the Anchor. I mean, I guess it's not very good, though. Banana rings. Dude. Banana rings are freaking really good, dude. These things probably got one of the best buffs next to the light discs because it turned them from a stackable item into a non-stackable item, meaning you can put reforges on it, which is really good. And I think you can throw 10 banana rings before, like 10 banana rings in, you know, rapid succession. You know what I mean. If you use this before, you know what I mean. Honestly, I think the banana rings are better than the Amarok. I think you can get better damage output with the banana rings than the Amarok. So I'm gonna put it like right there. It's barely better than the Amarok, I'd say. Barely better. And then, oh gosh, excuse me. Then we got the Beam Sword. The Beam Sword is definitely one of these really good items. It's a good sword. Definitely a nice thing to have in early hard mode. I think you get it from Underground Skeleton Warriors. I think that's how you get this thing? I don't want to check. I'm pretty sure that's how you get the Beam Sword. The Beam Sword does good damage. It's basically like the hard mode Enchanted Sword. I'd say it's probably easier to get than the Enchanted Sword, because sometimes you just don't get the Enchanted Sword when you find a sword shrine. At least I think that can happen, so I'm gonna put this thing in like, I'm gonna put it in like high B tier. It's like at the top of B tier for now. Obviously, things can move, so if you're mad about this placement, just know it might move by the end of this list. The Blade Tongue. I'm gonna be honest, this is another weapon I haven't really bothered to use either. I know it inflicts Ichor, which I guess could be pretty good, but I haven't used it, so, I mean, it has to go in the haven't used tier. And another weapon I have not used, the Brand of the Inferno. So this is a very interesting weapon. It has that really weird gimmick where you can, like, parry with the shield. I think that's its main gimmick. I don't know how useful that is. Maybe it's useful. I'm not too sure. I know it drops from the Ogre. Pretty sure it drops from the Ogre in the Old One's Army event. So I'm just gonna have to, put it in the haven't used, because I don't know. I don't know. Chain Guillotines. Chain Guillotines, these drop from Corruption Mimics. Chain Guillotines are pretty good. They're really good against single targets. They're actually, even though it drops from a Mimic, they're actually pretty good against Mimics. I don't know. I like the Beam Sword a little bit better. I think I'm gonna put this like right. I think I'm gonna put them like right here. Still good. Remember, the B tier is the good tier. They're like right there. Cheek. Or I think that's how you say it. Or cheek. Pretty easily obtainable yo-yo. I think it just needs Souls of Light and Crystal Shards and a wooden yo-yo in order to craft it. You can, yeah, I mean, I'd suggest just go for Amarok or Hellfire if you want like an early hard mode yo-yo. I'm gonna put it like right here, like mid B tier, I'd say. Oh gosh, these things. I'm gonna be completely honest. Or I want people to be completely honest with me. Does anybody use the Chlorophyte weapons? Like the Chlorophyte Claymore and the Chlorophyte Saber. These two dudes right here. These two little dudes. Because I've never found them useful, ever. I've never used them. they like, these things pretty much, they define upper C tier. They're kind of like with the adamantite stuff. With the exception of the chlorophyte partisan, I think this is probably the most useful out of them because the spore cloud travels pretty far. And it's a spear, so I think you'd get the most use out of it, I'd say. And of course, you know, the waffle time video, he had to use this thing a lot. And in that video, it seemed pretty good, so it's still a C tier, obviously. But I'm gonna put it like high C tier, like right here. Almost like where the beam sword is. Give me. Need some water. Alright. Next one, the Christmas tree sword. The Christmas tree sword, after, like, you know, the recent update where it rains ornaments, it shoots out a star and it rains ornaments. Seems like it'd be pretty good. I haven't really used it all that much, but it seems like it'd be pretty good. I'm gonna put it like bottom B tier. I'm pretty sure you could probably use it. I mean, for when you get it, you probably have better options, but it's a fun gimmicky weapon. You can have fun with it. And, gosh, here's our first, completely useless item. Completely useless. The Classy Cane. The Classy Cane is, how do I put this? It's really stupid. Right? I feel like this is like one of those meme weapons, kind of like the Copper Short Sword, where people are like, oh, Copper Short Sword, best weapon, ha ha ha, even though it's actually terrible. This thing basically defines the sad guy tier. It basically, I think that's just gonna be where it goes. It defines the sad guy tier. Oh gosh, here we have another set of, the hard mode ores. This time it's cobalt, which is like even worse than adamantite. So, I'm gonna put them, I'm gonna get them here, put them on the same layer as each other, and I'm gonna move y'all like right into the lower C tier, like mid C tier. Oops, I did not mean to rotate that. Right there. Right about right there. Yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna put them. Code 2. I think you get this from the traveling merchant. I think you get this, I think you have to defeat a mechanical boss before you get this. It's on the same level as Jake, I'd say. So I'm gonna put it marginally above it though, like right there. They're like kissing each other. The cutlass is pretty good. It's one of those really good early hard mode weapons. It can be easily obtained like right after the start of hard mode. So I'm gonna put it like lower B tier, like right there, I think. This is the Dao Pow. The Dao Pow is actually pretty easily obtainable. You just need some light and dark shards, and I forgot what like kind of flail you need. I don't even know if you need a flail to craft this. Just goes to show you how much I've used this thing. But I think it does like 100 damage, which is pretty good for like an early hard mode flail. So for that reason, I'm gonna put it like, I think I'm actually gonna put it above these yo-yos because it does a lot of damage. Daybreak. All right. Might be a controversial opinion. I like the Daybreak a lot more than I do the Solar Eruption. I feel like my damage is a lot more consistent with the Daybreak, so I don't know, this is just a favorite of mine. I really like the Daybreak. It's my favorite of the solar weapons, so I'm actually gonna put it in Chad tier. I'm gonna put it like middle of the road Chad tier. It's a really good weapon. I really like it. Death Sickle. Listen. When I say this, alright? The Death Sickle is a personal favorite weapon of mine. Love the Death Sickle. It is freaking fantastic. This thing is just chef's kiss. It's hot out the oven. It is amazing. Relogic, you guys did a phenomenal job making this weapon. This thing goes like upper Chad tier. It's so freaking good, dude. I love the Death Sickle so much. And then we have the Drippler Crippler, which you get from bloody eels. It's another one of those hard mode flails. I'd say this is lower than the Tao of Pow, because, you know, at least with the Tao of Pow, it's, like, consistent when you get it. No, they're about the same. I think they do about the same damage. They both do about, like, 100 damage. I think the Drippler Crippler does 110, I think. So, they're both kind of on the same tier-ish. I'm actually going to rotate it and kind of, like, tuck it in there. Kind of like the yin and the yang, even though the Tao of Pow already has the yin and the yang symbol on it. So, I'm just going to tuck it. Just going to tuck it in right there. Nice and cozy. Excalibur. Dude, I love Excalibur so much, man. After the update, man, this thing is so freaking good. with this, like, the swing range update. Man, the Excalibur is so much worth crafting now, dude. It's so freaking good. This is like high A tier, like right around here, dude. Like right here. It's so good, man. I love the Excalibur. Fetid Bagnacks. Fetid Bagnacks are pretty good. I remember in one melee playthrough in particular, I used the Fetid Bagnacks so much for some reason. I don't know why I did. But they're actually really good. I'm gonna put them above the banana rings, but just barely, like right there in front of them. Oh gosh. Flare-on. Alright. Let me take a sip of water before I talk about the Flare-on real quick. Flare-on, they're gonna be updating this to where it's more like a flail, obviously, you know, Flail-ron. That's its whole thing. I think it's fine right now, personally. It's a good weapon. I think I'm gonna put it like maybe in high B tier. I think I'm actually going to move the beam sword down a little bit if I can find it on the layers tool. Beam sword like right there, and the Flail-ron, I'm gonna move it like right there. I do like the Flail-ron. I like it a lot. I remember when I got Terraria on my PC back in update 1.2, I think the Flail-ron was in the game by that point. I used it a lot, specifically during the Pumpkin Moon. I don't know why, but I did. So yeah. Flower Pow. The Flower Pow. I'm pretty sure you get this from playing Terra, don't you? Just use any other weapon by this point, honestly. I'm gonna put the Flower Pow in like C tier. But like upper C tier, because I mean you can still use it. Yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna put it. Just use any other weapon. I mean, it's post Plantera. I mean, I'm pretty sure it drops from Plantera. If it doesn't, then let me know. But I'm pretty sure the Flower Pow drops from Plantera, and by this point, just go out and get a Terra Blade. You'll like it a lot more. Let's see. Oh, it's over here. Oh, I just accidentally opened up Microsoft Store. Oops. I'm trying to click on the folder. Dude, alright. Next weapon up. Flying Dragon. This is my favorite sword in the entire game. It does so much freaking damage. Its projectiles pass through 5 enemies before it disappears. It passes through blocks. This thing is like the Terra Blade on freaking crack. This thing is so freaking good, dude. It's so good. So good. Putting it right in the chat tier. Right in the chat tier. It's literally the Terra Blade on crack. It's so good. If the Zenith was not in the game, this would be the end-game sword. It'd be the definitive end-game sword. It's a pain in the butt to get. A gigantic, massive, hard pain in the butt. Yes, fighting Betsy sucks. But dang, it's such a good sword. Oh my gosh, it's such a good sword. I made a whole video about it. About why it's so good. And then at the opposite end of the spectrum, Flying Knife. The Flying Knife, I haven't really used much of this weapon. I don't think it's that good. I'm gonna put it in haven't used. For format C. I think you get this from the skeleton merchant. It's once again, it's on the same level as all these kind of early hard mode yo-yos. Once again, I'd say Amarok and Hellfire are just a little bit better. But I'm still gonna put it around, you know, like mid B tier. They're still good, and you can still use them. Frostbrand. I mean, Frostbrand is it's kind of like the Ice Blade, but the hard mode Ice Blade. I'm pretty sure it's basically what it is. Honestly, you'd probably be a lot happier with a beam sword. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in like B tier. You could still use it. I think it'd be effective with it. I haven't used it that much, so take my opinion with a grain of salt. The Ghastly Glaive. I'm sorry, I have not used the Ghastly Glaive all that much. Sorry, it's gonna have to go. I literally have never used this weapon. I'm sorry, I did not know it existed. Let's see here. Golem Fist? I mean, it's Golem's Fist. I mean, it's literally in the name. It shoots out Golem's Fist. I'm gonna put this thing in, like, C tier. I really don't think that you would really ever use this in any serious capacity. This is like a meme weapon. It's not a weapon that you're really gonna use all that seriously. It's a cool concept, don't get me wrong. You literally have Golem's Fist, and you're shooting it out. That's cool. Just wish it was a little bit more useful. I'm gonna put it, like, right... Actually, no, you'd probably use these things in a more serious capacity than you would the Golem Fist, honestly. Let's see here. Gradient. I honestly forgot how you get this yo-yo. Excuse me. I think I need to look this up. Gradient. Does 49 damage. Oh, it's another one of these yo-yos that can be purchased from the skeleton merchant. Alright, cool. I'm gonna put it right there then. Pretty cool. For 20 gold. Gungnir. I don't know why I said it was such... I don't know why I said it so much. It's like, Gungnir. It's pretty good. Pretty good spear. Put it, like right... You know what I think I'm actually gonna do? I'm gonna move the chain guillotines. Oops, I didn't mean to open that. I'm gonna move the chain guillotines down. Right there. I'm gonna move the beam sword down. So I can make some room for good old Gungnir here. I think you're probably gonna use Excalibur a little bit more than you would Gungnir. So that's why it's going in like high B tier. Let's see. Oh gosh, I'm gonna be honest, I have never used the jousting lances. Not lances, dude? What is this? Can I get the lance sauce? No. I've never used the jousting lances. I don't want to, honestly. They're going in the haven't used category, all of them. The handbat. Once again, another weapon I have not used. I looked on the wiki, it gives you a regeneration buff. I just have not used it enough to know if it's good. Ah, here we go, Hellfire. Hellfire is on the same tier as Amarok. It's got a worse drop chance. It's a 1 in 400 instead of a 1 in 300 for Amarok. It's like it's on the same tier as Amarok. I'd honestly say it's a little bit higher. I think the debuff on, oops. Oh gosh, I just freaked this thing up. Oh no, never mind, it's back. We're all good, shut up. We're all good. I'm gonna move banana rings up. I'm gonna move banana rings up a little bit, like right there. And I'm gonna move the fetid bag necks up. Oh gosh, I keep freaking this thing up! I mean, at least it's easily fixable. I'm gonna move the fetid bag necks up a little bit. Like right there. Yeah. I think Hellfire is better than Amarok, because I think the debuff on Hellfire is a lot more useful. Icicle. Another pretty good early hard mode weapon. It's a pretty rare drop, but from my experience on the Don't Dig Up seed, it's a pretty useful drop to get. Especially since the underground ice biome covers like 90% of the world. So I'm gonna put it, honestly, like yeah, I'm gonna put it in like upper B tier, like right next to the beam sword. Right next to the beam sword and Gungnir. It's pretty freaking good, I'd say. Influx Waver. Or Weaver, I don't know. I think it's the image says Influx Waver, so that's what I'm gonna say. Pre-update, I'd say this is better than the Terrorblade. Post-update, it's like right here. It's like right there. Like right in there. Actually, no, I'd say it's a little bit like right here. Its gimmick where it hits enemies multiple times is pretty freaking cool. And it does do a lot of damage, so I'm gonna put it like a high A tier. Another jousting lance. I'm gonna put this swiftly down here. I'm never gonna use these things. Keybrand. This was a really interesting one. Keybrand is interesting because I'm pretty sure its gimmick is that it does more damage to hurt enemies. I think that's its main thing. The Breaker Blade does more damage to unhurt enemies, and the Keybrand does more damage to hurt enemies. Which is pretty cool. I don't know how useful that is, so I'm gonna kind of like compromise and put it like right in the B tier. I'm assuming that if you did use it, it'd be pretty good. I'm sorry if I keep having to like look over here. I'm looking at my stuff. The KO Cannon. Another kind of stupid gimmicky weapon. I'm gonna put it, like right here. I don't think you'd... Actually, no, I'm gonna put it like down here. When have I ever used the KO Cannon? Ever. Gosh, man. Kraken. Kraken is one of these yo-yos that can be held in the air forever, I think, and it drops post-Plantera in the dungeon. It does like 95 damage, I think. Pretty solid yo-yo. I'm gonna put it right here in the A tier, honestly. There's not really a lot of things in D in the sad guy tier. I think that just goes to show you how good Terraria's balancing really is, or like just how good their weapons are. It's fantastic, honestly. It's one of the best balanced games I've probably ever played in my life. It's really good. Light discs. Light discs are kind of on the similar tier as I just heard my dog snore. Light discs are on the same tier as banana rings because they received the same buff that the banana rings did. I'd honestly say I'm gonna move them here, and I'm gonna move the fetid bagnecks up a little bit. Where are the fetid bagnecks? Where are the fetid bagnecks? There we go. Move it right there. Alright, cool. Coolio. Alright. Meowmere. This is honestly one of my least favorite Moonlord drops. I understand. It's the cat sword, right? It is the cat sword. It's the Nyan cat sword. I think the cats are annoying. I think the noise they make is irritating. But it's a good sword, so I'm gonna have to put it in high. I'm gonna have to put it in high A tier, like right there. It's not a Chad tier. I don't like it that much, but I can acknowledge that it's a really good weapon. The mushroom spear, listen, it's the mushroom spear. I mean, it's got to go in the Chad tier. It's going in a low Chad tier, but I mean, come on, it's the mushroom spear. Come on, man. Oh gosh, here we go. Another set of ore weapons. We got mithril this time. Mithril is my favorite ore. I think that the sword looks the coolest. Yeah, I mean, it's mithril. You know, it's kind of like, you know, the only reason you mine mithril is to make a pickaxe and an anvil. That's the only reason you mine mithril. You don't really mine mithril for the armor, unless you really just want to get the mechanical bosses out of the way. And you don't really mine mithril for the weapons, so it's gonna go in like mid C tier. The North Pole. It's the best spear in the game. Honestly, I think they should add like a Moonlord spear. Could you imagine the possibility? That would be insane. I would love that if they added a Moonlord spear. Dude, it could be called like I mean, I know that the Daybreak is technically technically a spear that you throw, but I'm talking like a spear that, you know, you just like, you know, you do that with, not like a throwable spear. And in that case, the North Pole is the best out of all of them, so it has to go in, you know, the A tier. But I'm gonna put it like right here. But man, imagine a Moonlord spear, like it shoots a meteor out or something, or like a laser, dude. Man, that would be amazing. That's a fantastic idea. A Moonlord spear that like shoots like lasers out. That I'm imagining how awesome that would be. That'd be awesome. Oh gosh, and then we have the obsidian swordfish. I'm gonna put this. This is our first D tier. I don't understand why you'd use the obsidian swordfish. Seriously, these are more useful than this thing. Why would you use the obsidian swordfish? I don't understand. It's gonna go in high D tier though. Right there. I understand why you'd use the obsidian swordfish, honestly. Ah man, water is good. Water is good. Oh gosh, this time we got orichalcum. Orichalcum sword and orichalcum halberd. These are both going with their friends in the C tier. But I like orichalcum a little bit less than I do mithril, so it's gonna go like right there. Like right in between there. They're functionally the same, except one's pink and one's green. And one of them looks cooler and one of them doesn't, so. Alright, Paladin's Hammer. I'd say the Paladin's Hammer is pretty good. I think that there are other weapons that are better though. Killing a Paladin can be kind of a pain in the butt, but I'm gonna put the Paladin's Hammer like right there. Right in there. Because I don't know if you would really use the Paladin's Hammer super seriously. It's a cool weapon, but yeah, I don't know if you'd really use it super seriously. Oh gosh, and then we got Palladium, or Palladium? I don't know how you say this word. I really don't know how you say this word. Honestly, I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna call it Palladium because I'm a Texan. Honestly, I like Palladium more than I do Cobalt. Honestly, blue is my favorite color. Blue is in fact, where the heck is Cobalt? Where is Cobalt on my layers? There it is. Move that right there. And I'm gonna move the KO cannon, obviously, down a little bit because I think it deserves it. But yeah, Palladium. Blue is my favorite color. It is because I'm a boy. That's kind of just the generic, you know, color. Oh, boys like blue, duh. I just like the way blue looks. All right. I think the design on the Palladium sword is a lot better than the Cobalt sword. The Cobalt sword is literally the most generic pixel art sword you can probably make, with a little bit of shading on it. The Palladium sword at least looks a lot cooler, so I'm gonna put it right above Cobalt. Right above Cobalt. Oh gosh, Pearlwood sword. Once again, listen, I know its damage got buffed, I know its swing speed got buffed, and all that crap. It's still going in the sad guy tier. It's still going in the sad guy tier. It's not a good weapon at all. There's no reason you would ever use it. There's so many better options. And you might be asking, oh, well, you might be playing on medium core and it's the only thing that you have. First of all, number one, who plays on medium core? Besides, you know, Waffle Time in that one video. And number two, you're better off just using any other hard mode weapon than the Pearlwood sword. Gosh, man. Phase Saber. I'm a little bit torn on the Phase Saber because the Phase Saber is a really, really easy weapon to get during hard mode. All you need is a Phase Blade and 50 crystal shards. So yeah, it's pretty good. I'll actually put it above the Cutlass in that regard. If you've got a Phase Blade, then this is a pretty easy weapon you can get. Possessed Hatchet. The Possessed Hatchet. I'm gonna put this thing kind of I'm gonna put this thing right. I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna move Kraken. I'm gonna move Kraken up a little bit. I like the Possessed Hatchet a little bit more than I do the Paladin's Hammer because it homes in on enemies. So it's just better in that regard. The Psycho Knife, once again, it's one of those weapons that you'd really only use if you have to. So I'm gonna put it. It's still, I mean, you could still use it, I guess. It does a lot of damage. I'm kind of torn. I kind of want to put it like I kind of want to put it right here, but I'm gonna put it up here just in case somebody is mad. Right there in the C tier. Red's Throw. Oh gosh, oops! I did not mean to do that. Red's Throw. I mean, come on, man. It's Red's Throw. It's literally Red's Throw. It's Red's Yo-Yo. Come on, man. I mean, come on, man. It's gotta go in the chat tier. It's Red's Yo-Yo. I mean, come on, man. It's Red's Throw. Scourge of the Corruptor, dude. Freaking this thing. Oh gosh, zoom in. This thing's a beast. I love this thing so freaking much. If I'm in a corruption world, this is the best reason to play in a corruption world. This thing right here. It's so good. It's so good. It's so much better than the Vampire Knives, in my opinion. I know, it might be a controversial opinion. It's so much better than the Vampire Knives, dude. So much better. This thing is going straight into the Chad tier. I honestly like it the way it functions more than I do the Daybreak. Honestly do. I don't like it more than the Death Sickle, though. But still, man. Such a good item. If you haven't used the Scourge of the Corruptor, do it. And the reason you might be saying, oh, it's Scourge, not Scourge. I am Texan, okay? It's the way we say things. Seedler. The Seedler, I mean, I feel like it's another one of these weapons that you kind of only really use because you have to. I'm gonna move it kind of at the top of C tier though, because I feel like it's it's the most capable weapon out of all of these. Honestly, I mean, you might be able to use this thing seriously. Yeah, I'm gonna say that you're gonna be able to use this thing seriously. I'm gonna put it like right. Honestly, I'm gonna put it like right here. No, like right here. Right there feels a little bit better. Yeah, I think so. Sergeant United's Shield. I've never used this weapon. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know it's like, I think it's a boomerang or something like that. I've never used it. I'm sorry. Another Jousting Lance. It's gonna go in the haven't used category because once again I do not care about lances. I don't care. Alright, here we go. Oh my gosh, here we have another. This is hands down one of my favorite weapons. Dude, the Shadow Flame Knives are so incredible. These things are so good. It's the best early hard mode weapon you can get. Hands down, if you're playing melee. All you need to do is kill a Goblin Summoner, and you have a 33% chance in order to get this. I just spit everywhere. This thing is so good. It does good damage. It inflicts Shadow Flame. You can throw it out oh my gosh. It's so good. So good. It's going in the chat here. I honestly think I like these more than the Death Sickle. I honestly think I do. The Shadow Flame Knives are so good. They are so good. Oh my goodness, I love them so much. This is my go-to early hard mode weapon if I'm playing melee. They're fan-freaking-tastic. So good. So good. Sky Dragon's Fury. It seems like a cool weapon, but I haven't really used it that much. So, once again, somebody in the comments, please enlighten me. Please. Slap hand. This is another one of those just really, really gimmicky items. I'm gonna put this probably like right in the bottom of C tier. Honestly. I mean, it's just one of those stupid gimmicky weapons. You're only using it because of, hey, it's a funny slap hand, haha. Yeah, that's the only reason you're using it. This weapon, the Sleepy Octopod. I think it's how you say it, Sleepy Octopod, yeah. Once again, kind of like this thing, or the Sky Dragon's Fury, it seems like it's a cool weapon. I've actually used this weapon, and it was kind of just okay. I didn't really find much use for it. I'm gonna put it above the KO cannon, though. I'm actually gonna move the KO cannon down a little bit, I think. Where is KO cannon? KO cannon, KO cannon. Right there. KO cannon. Solar Eruption. Solar Eruption, definitely really good. I'm gonna put it... I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna move Excalibur down in the Influx Waver. Not Weaver. I don't know why I call it Influx Weaver. It's like something in my brain. I remember it being called the Influx Weaver at one point. I don't know why. Put it like right there. Yeah, I think that's where it needs to go. I like the Meowmere a little bit more. I don't really like the way that the flail works on the Solar Eruption. I think the way it works is just really weird. So, yeah, it goes in. It's still a really good weapon though. I still really like it. So it's going in high A tier. Oh gosh, this is one of my favorite swords in the entire game. The Star Wrath is so much cooler than the Meowmere in my opinion. The Star Fury is already my favorite pre-hard mode sword. So, I mean, this thing just has to go in the chat tier. It's so freaking cool, dude. Oh my gosh, dude. It's so cool. I love the way, I love the way it works. The fact that it ties in to the Star Fury is so freaking cool. I just really like it, man. I can't help it, man. It's, the way it works is just so cool. Starlight, once again, this is another thing. This thing is technically a short sword, I think. But it's so freaking cool. Like, this thing just swings so freaking fast. This is, like, I played the Constant Seed, and I used this thing, like, in-game. It's so freaking cool. Just as a gimmick, I killed the Moon Lord with it, and it was honestly pretty effective. It was honestly pretty effective, so I'm gonna put it, I'm actually gonna put it, like, right there. I think. Yeah. Put it, like, right there. We're getting to the end with the Terrorblade. This is, once again, like, pre-update, high A tier. Post-update, you know, like with the sword, you know, if you play Terraria, you know what update I'm talking about. The swords update. It's like, it's up here, man. The Terrorblade is so freaking good. It's such a classic, man. It's the Terrorblade. It's like one of the most iconic swords in the entire game. You could put this, you could take the Terrorblade, and you, excuse me. You could take the Terrorblade, and just put it on the box art of Terraria, and people will go, oh look, that's Terraria. Like, put it in a GameStop, like, literally have nothing. The logo, nothing. Just put the Terrorblade on the front cover, and have somebody walk in a GameStop, and they're looking for Terraria, and they see that, and they go, oh look, that's Terraria. Like, seriously, I honestly think you could do that, because this sword is such an iconic sword. So good. Terrarian. It's my favorite yo-yo in the entire game. It's the most powerful. It's going up here. It's going up. It's honestly, it's equal with Red's Throw, I think. Oh, oops. It's equal with Red's Throw. Right about there. Right there. It's on the same wavelength. I have Cthulhu. It's the best yo-yo you can get before the Terrarian, I think. It's a really freaking good yo-yo. It does like 115, 110 damage. It's gonna go right there, I think. I don't know. Like right there. Right in between Excalibur and the Influx Waver. The Horseman's Blade. Dude, I love the Horseman's Blade. I loved it before the update. But now that it got that, like, swing range update or whatever it is, dude, this thing's so cool. I love the Horseman's Blade, man. It's so good. I love it so much, man. I've always loved this thing. Like, when it first came out. It's so cool. It's so cool. I honestly think I like the way it works a little bit more than I do the Terrorblade. Yeah, that looks better. That looks a lot better. I love the Horseman's Blade so much. It has such a nostalgic value to me. Oh gosh. Our last hard mode ore sword. Titanium. Titanium sword. and the titanium trident. Titanium, I guess you could say, is arguably better than adamantite, but I like the color red than I do just generic gray. So like, oops, what the heck happened? I thought I merged these layers. There we go. I like the color red more than I do just gray, so I'm gonna put it right there. Alright. True Excalibur. True Excalibur is a lot better than regular Excalibur. Its swing range is freaking... Oh gosh, what the heck happened? Its swing range is huge. Oh my gosh. The range on this thing is crazy. It's honestly like it was the Labor and Love update, I think, that updated all the swords. Post update, I like the True Excalibur more than I do the True Knight's Edge. Honestly, I kind of want to put it in low Chad tier. Honestly, I really like the sword. I like the colors too of the swing. It's really nice. True Knight's Edge, I think that this is the better looking sprite out of the two, but I think its new gimmick is kind of weird. The orb is huge and the hitbox is kind of weird. Or at least from what I've seen. Still really good though. I'm gonna put it like right around here with the influx waiver. Move the solar eruption up a little bit, obviously. Solar eruption, move it up a little bit like that, and move Meowmere. Where is Meowmere? Where is Meowmere? Blah, blah, blah. There we go. Actually, I could have just left it. I'm gonna leave it. Valkyrie yo-yo. Pretty sure this is another dev yo-yo, so I mean, obviously it's gotta go in the chat tier. It's a dev yo-yo. Vampire knives. How the mighty have freaking fallen, dude. This thing I remember when this thing healed you so much, but now it's just kind of, eh. It needed a nerf, but it's like, I just think it got nerfed a little bit too much. I just don't see much use for the vampire knives anymore. I mean, they're still good. You can still use them, but I'd honestly just think I'd put them... I think they're honestly just at the top of B tier, honestly. Yeah, they just kind of lost their charm for me. Sad. Waffles Iron. I know you get this from beating Medusa in the Legendary Seed. I've never used it. I'll have to see how good it is when I actually, you know, get to it. Yelets? I think that's how you say it? Yelets? Yelit? Whatever. How do you even get this? I honestly have no idea how you get this. Terraria Yelets? Or Yelit? I don't know how you say that. It does 60 damage, okay. After you defeat a mechanical boss, it has a 1 in 200 chance to drop from any enemy killed in the jungle and the underground jungle. Okay. So... it does 60 damage, and it has a random chance to drop from any enemy in the most insufferable biome. It's, in my opinion, probably, like, the least of all these yo-yos. Just for the fact that it's in the underground jungle. Or that it drops in the jungle. The hard mode jungle is insufferable. I hate it. It's so bad. It's a mistake that needs to be burned. Alright. Final weapon. The final weapon, A to Z. Pretty sure if you've played this game, you already know what this thing is. It's, of course, the Zenith. It's the Zenith. It's the most powerful sword in the entire game. It does 300 damage. It attacks so freaking quickly. The grind for it is really freaking... It's... Gosh, man. The grind. But it's still, man, it's... Gosh, I mean, this thing just deserves the Chad tier. Just based off of its prestige alone. It goes up here. I mean, this thing, it will go down in history. I'm gonna move the flying dragon. Flying dragon. Move the flying dragon up because I like it the most out of all these swords. The Zenith goes up. Oh gosh, I keep on freaking scrolling. Dude, I'm sure that's freaking a lot of people out. The Zenith goes up here just for pure prestige alone. It's so freaking cool, dude. It's super cool. And it's gonna go down in history as like one of the most overpowered weapons, I think, just in gaming history. It's so freaking cool. It's so cool. It's cool, and it's really good. I mean, obviously it's really good. It's the best sword in the entire game. I just like the flying dragon just a smidge bit more. Just a little smidge bit more. And that's every hard mode weapon. Every hard mode melee weapon ranked. If I missed anything, let me know. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe. And if you do subscribe, please make sure to hit the notifications button on the way out. And anyway, guys, peace out. Woo!